All right, we got a Thursday recap going into the day. Super clear DOL. We were going to all-time highs. Literally no doubt about it. So just looking to wait for a retracement and then long that bitch. So going into the day, no manipulation really. It's just we're bullish. What we did have is we had uh I think we might have had an SMT with um the news low. I'm gonna go check real quick. Let me just line this sheet up real quick. Make sure they even too. Equal rights, equal fights. What? Okay, yeah, I was tripping. It's on the 4 minute time frame, bro. I was so confused. Okay, let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, let me just look at the I don't need to look at the news. 8:30 we had unemployment claims, and then we had FOMC later on in the day. So usually, like every single time FOMCs come around, I just don't trade until it comes out, and then usually it's pretty shitty price action. I only get a little time to really do that. This time I traded it, and there was perfect setups today. So really, I think just every morning session, I'm just gonna trade, no matter what the news is or what I'm expecting, because lately what I've been expecting on like certain days, like FOMC day or day before CPI, like it's too many restrictions that I don't have enough time to trade in. So, um, I'm just not gonna do that anymore. Yeah, so we did have an SMT with the data lows right here. We started getting displacement. So we put in an SMT right before market open and we start displacing. Keep in mind, there's nothing to our left besides all-time highs. So nothing for us to really react from. So we're just looking for us to retrace and then go long. Right here, what do we do? Market open, displace above that high. Expect this to support. We came back down to the breaker, supported this fair value gap. Now, something I want to implement soon is like if I'm expecting this to hold and we like go like that, but you see this wick, that is a pretty good sign that so far I've seen where like it shouldn't come back to this low. It already filled everything, tapped everything it needed to, and then we got a strong rejection out of it. That is a very good candle. It's literally like it's like this bullish candle at 9:36, except it's just like a rejection kind of. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing you want to see. This is just rejection, and this is just displacement towards your DOL. But you still displace like that much. So, for example, we take this and then we take it to all-time highs or whatever, or just a fix 3R or something like that. Boom, right there. But that's not what I've been trading. So I'm looking for, some sort of gap to get filled, and we get that right here. We have a little SMT at these lows, but I believe this is a 5 minute gap that we are in right here. I believe this is the 5 minute gap. And this is already where I expect to reject. And we see this big candle up. Now, we didn't inverse this gap. I personally have enough confidence, but that should be enough to validate that this low should be protected. You have an SMT inside of a fair value gap, and you got strong displacement where we expect to go, you know? So then we get this fair value gap, right? And we get this wick again. After that wick, that is a good entry. Fixed 3R, something like that. Boom. Now here's the thing, right? We had this inversion. Why didn't I enter here? I was waiting for a tap back into it, but never got that. So if I were to do this, I would have to enter right there off the close. Probably. Honestly, I would expect that inversion to hold and this order block. So I would probably put it there. I stop. And then if I did do a fix R, like obviously it would hit, but I would be sitting around in the place where I wouldn't want to be sitting around in. But still, it takes that high. We displace above it, you go break even. It still hits for not 160.68. But still hits for like a 2.5 R. So it's good. We got here, right? started chopping around a little bit. We got displacement above that high. Expect this fair value gap to hold, but we're just kind of, just chilling in this range, right? The fuck happened to ES? Yeah, we're just chopping around. ES is still pumping up though, but I'm just looking for some sort of valid entry, right? We get this SMT inside of this 5-minute gap. And so I'm looking to see if we inverse this gap with speed. I would take that, but we ended up taking it with too much speed, too much displacement, really. We displaced above that high, so I expect this low to be safe, right? And now what do I want to see? Since this is too high, I want to see a retracement. This should be a protected low. We have an SMT. Even if it wasn't an SMT, we got displacement above that high. That should be enough for at least these highs, right? Now we retrace, come back into this fair value gap, we hold it, and we get displacement inversing a fair value gap. Why didn't I take this trade? I was waiting for a tap back in again. So stupid, bro. You could have put stop below that candle, expecting that inverse to hold. Fix 3RR, something like that. Only reason why I'm doing like 3RR is just because you take two of those with 1% risk and you pass an account just like that. So, and also like the majority of my trades go for at least 3RR. So that's what I will be targeting. But then again, yeah. So entry was right there, not to tap back in. It just closed just right above. There's no reason to wait for a tap back in. There's no reason to risk missing the entry, which I did. But yeah, 3RR, right? We close above that high, displacing. Starts to break even. Just keeps displacing. Beautiful trade. Now, yeah, all this mumbo jumbo we were doing. What did I believe I might have taken something here. Yeah, I took something really dumb. I don't even know what I took it on. But there was no setup here. There was no invert. I mean, oh, I think I might have taken on ES possibly. Yeah, I think I did. I saw a retracement into a place where we rejected from before. This is an inversion for value gap actually. I believe it was a 2-minute for value gap. We got inversion with speed. I put my stops at that low, and then TP would have been probably gone with 3R, which would have been actually perfect. Actually, it probably would have touched it and then not get filled. But I would have probably taken it out there if it got that close anyways. So fix 3R, right? Tap in the gap, but we wanted to come back down and sweep that low. So now why did that not work? Also, because it is 11:45. Should not be taking a trade really. I would say past 11:30. Max the latest is like 12. You really don't want to be trading from 12 to 1. But yeah, that's exactly what I did. No. I entered. This is what I entered. I entered on NQ. There was a 2-minute gap right here, and I expected this to hold. We got displacement inversion for value gap, right? I entered on the retrace back into the inverse just because that was much higher than I wanted, right? Stops were, I believe, at the bottom of this inverse right here. So we have these gaps we expect, this 2-minute gap we expect to hold. And then TP was here. Now, and right here, why do we reject from here? On the 4-hour time frame, we had a huge wick, and that was the 50% level. And basically that's kind of like the big wicks are imbalances in themselves. And so you really want to see the 50% mark get hit and respected. Obviously the longer time frame draw is bullish, but you can definitely see some rejection, which as you can see, we got some strong rejection from there. So just to keep that in mind. But yeah, you enter off of that. There's nothing wrong with that. We inverse all of that. We displace above that high. This high should be pretty clean. So we end up taking that high. I end up going break even. Now, the problem with this, right, is it's not safe whatsoever. The only reason why I should go break even is one, if you displace above a high, if you're in a long position, if you displace above a high, then it should not come to where you entered, as long as your entry isn't like right at the spot it swept. But thing is, we swept it. We had an SMT, right? And I just wasn't sure how deep you wanted to retrace, and I didn't want to risk anything. Not the worst idea, but my trade idea was completely right. And just because of how bullish we were, there was no reason for us to really um not just keep going. It doesn't need a deep retrace. Everything here is balanced too. So even with the SMT, we did get a little bit of rejection, but we came back into this 2 minute fair value gap, and then look at that displacer that we got. In the matter of minutes, I would have been up like over 2K. I mean, a minute, not minutes, minute from over 2K just from that one. If I kept my stop in the original spot, but is what it is. I believe that's all I have for today. But main thing, right, is I'm taking good trades, but I believe two main things. I'll add a third one if I remember it. Two main things, right? Number one, inverse for value gaps. If I'm entering off an inverse for value gap, either if it's close to the top of it, like this is a long example. If it closes close to the top of it, right? Still closes above, but like it's not like crazy above. I can do a market order, and if it retraces, it retraces. I'm not gonna miss out on the move. But if it's way too high, as long as it didn't hit the high, I can enter in light size, just to still go with the trade idea, or I will wait for a retracement and then take it there as long as I'm still confident with it. So that's the first thing, and the second thing is, I go break even way too early. My draw is to this high at least, but it's usually not the best risk reward, so I want to hold to another high. And when I do that, right, it sweeps that high, but then it wants to retrace. It's ERL to IRL, external liquidity to internal liquidity. As soon as it sweeps a high, it wants to fill orders in internal liquidity, known as fair value gaps. And as soon as it does that, as long as it's still bullish, it will still keep going up as long as it retraces. Most times. Sometimes it'll just pump all the way up, which, good for me, but not in this case. And most cases it's not. So yeah, like when it sweeps a high, right? If I'm still confident of my draw being hit, don't go break even if it's not protected. If there was a fat imbalance right here, displacing above that high, we swept that, I would expect that imbalance to hold, but there was nothing there until down here. Only for value gaps were down here. So if anywhere we'd want to retrace, it would be down here. And yeah, that's really it. Today, honestly, I believe my account, yeah, I was down, I want to say like 500, a little less than 500 today. No biggie, really, it's whatever. But I would have definitely been able to capitalize on these pretty easy inversion setups, if it weren't for me waiting for a retrace. And now that I'm back to switching to inverse or value gaps, I'm not going to make that mistake again. If it's too high and I don't like the entry, I'm fine with missing that out. But when it is just above the fair value gap and the RR doesn't change that much, and I don't enter because I want to retrace just a little bit, that is never going to happen again. I can promise you that, because all I need is this just today. That's all you really need. I know exactly what I need to do, but yeah, that's really it. Tomorrow we have no news tomorrow. End of the week of a pretty good week too. And we're at all-time highs now on NQ. So I don't have very high expectations tomorrow. Next week should be good, but yeah, tomorrow might be an iffy trading day. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's it for today.